All right, welcome back, deep divers. Gosh, it feels like we were just here mapping out that incredible universe of no gods before us.
It really does. Time flies when you're deep in a great story.
Totally. And last time we laid out the groundwork, right? How this isn't your typical fantasy setup. Gods are humans, basically, and they're facing extinction.
Yep. And sharing this very dangerous planet with other human-like species, the Nasi, the Mortoodles, the Alciba, it's a rich tapestry.
So rich. And now we're diving headfirst into part 2 of book 1, The Weight of Names. And let's just say things escalate quickly.
Oh, absolutely. These 5 chapters, they hit hard. The author promised a death in each chapter, and wow, they delivered.
It's relentless, sets a pace that honestly reminds me a bit of those early Game of Thrones books where you just never felt safe, you know?
Exactly. No character feels protected. It's a bold move, strips away any plot armor right from the get-go.
For sure. So for this deep dive, we're switching it up. No straight recap. Instead, we're doing a rapid-fire Q&A. Pulling out the moments, the lines, the character beats that really jumped out at us as fans, just geeking out on what makes the section tick. Ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
Okay. Rapid fire question number 1. Favorite moment of this section. What really stood out for you?
Oh, man. For me, it's got to be Alex's ritual. At the center arches. Burning thorn blackwood's rope.
Ooh, yeah. Powerful.
It's more than just dramatic, right? It's this chilling visual. It just perfectly shows his ruthless ambition, the whole ideology of the collective. You know, the individual means nothing compared to the group.
Or, more accurately, compared to his vision for the group.
Exactly. It's got that calculated brutality, kind of like you see in Abercrombie's First Law stuff, power shown through these symbolic acts.
That scene is just burned into my memory, the coldness of it. It really cements his new order. Okay, my standout moment is maybe a bit quieter.
Okay.
It's X in the Natur die bar. The way he just slips into the Constantinian dialect, the old god language, to calm things down.
Effortless.
Yeah, that was smooth. But then it's his later realization, understanding the deep cultural meaning behind the insult that started it all. That's what got me. It shows real power isn't just knowing words, it's understanding the world behind them.
That's a great point, like Spock, almost.
Exactly. Or, another moment that really struck me, similarly quiet, was Love's chat with Princess Fatum XD about the fake flowers.
Ah, yeah.
And her line, flaws make a thing more beautiful. In the Sea Kingdom, with their obsession with sanguine purity and perfect genes, that's huge. It's this tiny little rebellion in a single sentence.
That's brilliant. You
Okay.
had 2 totally different kinds of moments showcasing power brute force versus subtle understanding or defiance. Love that contrast. Okay, sticking with impactful things,
Yeah.
what line or piece of dialogue just lives rent-free in your head now?
Oh, good one.
It keeps circling back to Alex's internal thought about Thorn Blackwood. You believed you're bigger than the collective? No greater sin? Right. It just lays bare his whole philosophy. It's the absolute core of his world order. Not personal glory. Nope. It's the group, the collective, above all. And, well, Alex is the collective, essentially.
It's a terrifyingly effective mindset for a conqueror.
Totally. And then, on a different note, Richter's whispered to Alex, "The Kirli won you as a bondsman like I won my servant."
Oof.
Yeah, that hit hard. It just reveals the real dynamic, doesn't it? A Kirli is this powerful lord. A bondsman is bound, maybe by debt, maybe loyalty, maybe fear. Even Alex, with all his rising power, is still caught in this intricate, manipulative social web.
That Richter line is perfect. It shows just how tangled everything is. For me, Fatum XC3 flaws make a thing more beautiful is definitely up there. Like we said, it's such a quiet challenge to everything her society stands for, really elevates her character.
Agreed.
But also, I can't get X's little internal rhyme out of my head about the Alciba woman at the bar.
To explore or to whore. Oh, yeah, that cynical whip.
It's so self-aware, so weary,
Yeah.
It pulls you right into his head like you're reading something by Gaiman or Pratchett, that kind of sharp, observational, slightly dark humor. It tells you so much about how he sees the world.
Roughly captures his voice.
All right, we've hit moments, we've hit lines. The big one. Favorite character in this stretch of the book? Who are you rooting for or just fascinated by?
Tough one.
I gotta make a case for X. His internal conflict, it's just so real. He's witty, he gets cultures through language like no one else, but he's got this invisible leash of duty pulling him back.
The reluctant hero trope? Done well.
Totally. He feels like maybe Kavoth from Name of the Wind.
Yeah.
Brilliant, burdened, always kind of yearning for freedom, but tied down by expectation, by his father Abraham, by feeling like a soul without a home. It just resonates.
X is definitely compelling. You feel that weight on him. But I think I have to go with Alex.
Oh, interesting. The antagonist, kind of.
Well, is he? That's what's fascinating. While X is grappling internally, Alex is actively shaping the world. Ruthlessly, yes, but effectively. His strategy, the sheer scale of his ambition, and his relationships are so complex. Ruel, Richter.
He's playing 4D chess while everyone else plays checkers.
Exactly. He's a master manipulator,
Yeah.
maybe even a necessary evil in his own mind. There are hints of something deeper than just power hunger. He's like this Machiavellian figure dropped into a sci-fi fantasy epic. You just can't look away.
Fair enough. He is undeniably magnetic, even if terrifying.
Okay, my turn. What's a moment that made you stop and reread? Either because it was awesome or just confusing.
Good question. Let me think.
Don't jump in. The scene with Sistan,
Hmm?
examining the dead Mortadell. She hates him, he invaded her land, but then she has this flicker of desire.
Whoa, yeah, that was unexpected.
Right. That complexity, that contradiction in the middle of this harsh, violent world.
Yeah.
It made me pause and go back, like, what is going on inside her? It's such deep character work. And also, completely different vibe, the whole idea of Alcibiade wombs being used as currency.
Ugh. Yeah. That stopped me cold, too.
Just the implications of that. It's grim, stark world building. Had to reread that to really process it.
Totally get that. For me, the reread moment was X drinking the Bruja potion.
Ah, the witch potion.
Yes. He knows the lore. He's the language guy. He knows Forestian witches, the warnings, don't swim, poison water, all that. And he drinks it anyway.
Why again? Chaos.
Pretty much. For chaos and rebellion, because he wanted to feel alive even for the night. It's so reckless, so human, in a self-destructive way. It confused me, but in a good way. Like a character in a grimdark novel just flipping the bird to fate.
And the barmaid?
Yes. The barmaid who gives it to him has the wrong accent. It adds this extra layer of mystery and unease. Like, who is she? It felt like finding a hidden clue, you know, like spotting something weird in the background of a scene in Lost.
Yeah, that whole sequence was loaded.
Okay, let's lighten it up slightly. Maybe. Guilty pleasure time. A moment, character, theme. Something you maybe shouldn't admit you're really enjoying or looking forward to.
Right. Lay it on me.
Okay, I confess, I'm kind of obsessed with Love's whole storyline in the Seek Kingdom.
Love, really.
Yes, his desperate social climbing. It's so earnest and almost painfully naive. He's dreaming of marrying some high-born daughter to fix his family's legacy. Meanwhile, there are wars and potential extinctions happening.
It is a stark contrast.
Right. It's this very human, almost mundane struggle, but the stakes feel so high for him. It's like watching a character from a Jane Austen novel dropped into Blade Runner. It's this weirdly delightful social commentary, and I just find his pure-hearted ambition kind of adorable, even if doomed.
Okay, I can see the charm. My guilty pleasure is darker.
Uh-oh.
The Acorn Party.
Oh, yeah. That's dark.
The fact that it's this unspeakable event, right? And what it implies about the hidden traditions, the conquest, the ownership. Specifically, Alex winning Calypso, his new slave, from it.
It's horrifying.
It is. But as a piece of world building, it's grimly fascinating. It shows the bedrock of the collective's ideology, this dehumanization. It's a guilty pleasure in the sense that it's disturbing, but it tells you so much about the depths of this world's darkness. You understand the stakes better.
That's a good point. It makes the world feel disturbingly real.
Okay, let's shift focus. Perception. Which character do you think is most misunderstood? Either by other characters within the story or maybe even by us readers.
Misunderstood.
I'm going to put forward Abraham, X's father.
Interesting choice. He seems pretty straightforwardly cold.
See? Misunderstood. On the surface, yeah, he seems cold, stoic, maybe resigned to human extinction, focused only on the Mortadell question. But if you look closer, his loyalty to Terrell's kids, how he champions Greta, is quite a decision to go to the forest himself.
Okay, yeah, there are layers.
He's carrying this immense burden, making species-level choices. It might look like lack of emotion, but maybe it's the weight of impossible decisions, like a general sending troops into battle, knowing the cost.
That's a really insightful take on Abraham. Makes me see him differently. I'm going to argue for the Alcibiade woman at the bar.
1X defended.
Yeah. Mr. Beard totally misreads her reaction to his clumsy idiom. He thinks she's just being petty, but for her, It's a brutal stab at her identity as a barren woman in a culture where daughters and lineage are everything.
The cultural context again.
Exactly. She's like a tiny example of the huge cultural misunderstandings X is constantly navigating. Forest ruled by fathers and honor, Sands by daughters, and, well, selling honor for peace. She holds all that pain and cultural weight in that one interaction, and most people, like Beard, just don't see it.
She's a symbol of those invisible wounds. Good call.
All right, buckle up. Wild speculation time. What's a line, a moment, a concept that you think is a secret Easter egg? Something planted for way later.
Ooh, I love these.
My pick. It's got to be that barmaid again. The one who gave X the Bruja potion.
The one with the accent?
Yep. Her wrong accent, the seemingly random kindness, good deeds deserve better than ale. And X just gulping down that potion for chaos. It feels too specific to be random. Is she more than she seems? Connected to forest magic. A hidden faction. Like maybe she's this world's version of a Bene Gesserit, subtly influencing thing.
Pulling strings from behind the bar. I like it.
It just feels like a breadcrumb, you know? Leading to something bigger about the magic or hidden powers in this world.
Okay, that's a good one. My speculation centers on Isabel.
The one on the aisle.
Yeah, her claim about manipulating Mortadell DNA to make a child. The reason she gets that 2-week reprieve.
Right, the potential Mortadell mother.
Exactly. Could this be the real deal? The rumor Alex later considers might be true. It feels like it could be the ultimate MacGuffin, or the key turning point that shifts the whole damn war, especially with all the focus on lineage and reproduction. It all might tie together, pointing towards who or what the actual Mortadell mother could be. It feels like a massive piece being set up.
Wow. Okay, if that pans out, huge implications.
Huge. All right, let's zoom out a bit, back to the big picture. We know the premise. Gods didn't exist here before humans arrived, so what are you surprised humans brought with them to this new planet? Or what do you really hope we learn more about next?
Good question to tie things together.
I'm kind of grimly surprised that even starting fresh on a new world, humans, the gods, immediately imported all their worst flaws. Prejudice, right? Abilene hating Greta for being barren, the whole pure old blood versus darker complexion thing.
It's depressing how persistent that stuff is.
And the dysfunctional power structures, the Isles Council clinging to the past, and those brutal traditions. It just suggests that fundamentally human nature didn't change with the scenery.
It reminds me of, like, Battlestar Galactica. They escape catastrophe only to recreate the same old problems.
A sobering thought. What I really hope we hear more about is that ancient civilization that was here before the gods. What was their deal? How does their legacy still echo?
Oh yeah, definitely need more on them. For me, what surprised me was how quickly social hierarchies were formed, but based on new arbitrary things, like the sanguinity percentage in the Sea Kingdom.
Blood purity, basically.
Exactly. It perfectly mirrors real-world class systems and racism. It shows how even a new world doesn't erase old prejudices. We just find new labels for them. It's a powerful, if depressing, commentary.
Sadly true.
And what I hope we learn, the real origin of the Mortadells and the Nashi, were they native? Or were they maybe engineered by the early human gods?
Ooh, like a servant race gone wrong.
Could be. That would totally reframe the whole history and the current conflict. Was humanity the original invasive species messing with genetics? That's the kind of reveal I'm hungry for.
That would be a game changer.
All right, let's shift gears slightly into our grab bag question.
Yeah.
Dig a little deeper on some specifics. Let's start with this one. Which character's choices frustrated you the most, and why do you think they made them?
Ooh, frustration.
Me.
Okay. For me, it's Bradford, back in the Sea Kingdom.
Love's friend.
Exactly. That whole setup, baiting Love into looking like a fool, and then the slimy, quintessential elite-level non-apology. Ugh.
He's infuriating.
And his justification, I couldn't resist. Even though he's seriously ill, it just screams arrogance, entitlement. But why? I think it goes back to what the book hints at. Love's family owes his own position is precarious, that shifting shale. His cynical advice to Love never speak with definitiveness basically reveals his own playbook. Every interaction is a power move, asserting dominance, even through petty cruelty. It's all about control.
You nailed it. He's the embodiment of that toxic high society manipulation. Pure frustration fuel.
Okay, my turn for a grab bag. Since we touched on Bradford's power plays, what do you think the book says about power overall and who uses it best or worst?
We sort of touched on this with Alex.
We did, and I still say Alex uses it best. Or most effectively, anyway. He's ruthless, yeah. But he uses all the tools, diplomacy, war, propaganda, like the Mortadell mother rumor. Burning the rope, that's ritual, as power projection. Leading from behind as bondsman, that's understanding nuanced control. He shapes the narrative, directs events without always being the face of it. It's dangerously effective.
Okay, if Alex is best, then the Isle of Gods has to be the worst, right?
Feels that way.
Their power is clearly fading. It's based on old knowledge, past glory. They cling to it with fear, stubbornness looking at you, Ephraim and bureaucracy, like Thaddeus sanitizing records in the archive.
Trying to control the past to control the present.
And it backfires. Threatening the forest just rallies people against them. They're reactive, defensive, ultimately just ineffective against the tide Alex represents. It's that classic theme, change versus resistance. The Isle is resisting and they're losing. Like watching an old empire crumble because it can't adapt.
Well put. They represent stagnation, while Alex, for better or worse, represents upheaval.
Okay, last question from the grab bag. Who had the biggest glow up, or maybe breakdown, and how did it hit you emotionally?
Biggest breakdown has to be Bradford.
Yeah, that was sudden.
Totally. One minute he's being his usual smug self, the next his face is pale and very withdrawn, he's coughing, and then just blood pouring from his mouth.
Graphic.
Incredibly. Seeing his delicately carved, youthful face lay unresponsive in a pool of blood, especially with all the whimsical fair stuff happening around, it was shocking. Really tragic, actually.
A brutal reminder of fragility in that opulent world.
Exactly. Hit me harder than I expected, like a sudden death in The Walking Dead where you just weren't ready. Who had a glow-up, or maybe a breakdown that felt like a glow-up?
Okay, this might be unconventional, but I'm saying Thorne Blackwood's death was a kind of glow-up.
A glow-up death, explain.
Well, think about it. He's defeated, broken, marched through towns, people throwing trash at him, humiliated.
Yeah, it's grim.
But when he gets to Common Kanta and the citizens are screaming, "Welcome to the collective" at him, he did not cower nor squirm. He stands as upright as he can, glaring at Alex with his one good eye.
Defiant to the end.
Exactly. Even when the flames reach him and his knees finally buckle, he never broke mentally. His spirit. That felt like a glow-up. He maintained his dignity, challenged Alex right to the last second.
Became a symbol, almost.
Totally, a symbol of unbroken will, even in utter defeat. Like Ned Stark going to his death, or Spartacus dying with principles intact. That's powerful.
Wow. So what does that say about you?
I guess it says I'm drawn to stories where the stakes feel intensely personal, even when huge events are happening. It's the human drama within the epic scope that grabs me.
That makes sense. Those small moments often carry the most weight. Wow. Part 2 really packed a punch, didn't it?
It really did. The stakes are definitely higher now.
Absolutely. Those 5 deaths, one per chapter, just hammered home the fragility of life, the precariousness of power in this world, and all these storylines converging. You just know something explosive is coming.
For sure. And we've seen how it all connects, right? Personal struggles, ex's duty, love's silly ambition, Sistanen protecting her daughter. They're all tangled up in these massive global conflicts.
And those themes, we keep hitting the weight of names. Truth versus lies, change versus tradition. They just keep getting richer, more complex.
So turning it back to you listening, what does all this mean for you? As you think about these chapters, these characters, these impossible choices, what resonates? Which struggles feel familiar even in this alien world?
And maybe a final thought to chew on. In this universe where gods are mortal, where death is a constant neighbor, what actually is true power? What leaves a lasting mark? Is it Alex's conquest? Is it preserving a bloodline like in the Sea Kingdom? Is it Abraham's pursuit of knowledge? Or is it something else entirely? Something these characters haven't even figured out yet? Maybe something about connection or understanding?
That's the question, isn't it? What truly endures? Man, what a deep dive. Can't wait for the next one.
Neither. Until then.